Hello everyone, welcome to a brand new episode of the Long Coat Mafia Podcast, the internet's most hated Mafia-themed geek podcast. It is I, the Reverend Godfather, the show's main host and frontman, and I do apologize for not sounding too energetic right now, and that's because I'm getting over a stomach bug, and it's taken a dent out of my energy levels, and not getting an early start for the past couple of days has not helped that at all. So, but let's get down to the nitty gritty. This past weekend, this past Saturday to be precise, Big Candy, whom I'm very grateful for, came up to Martinsburg to pick me up to bring me back down to Winchester for Back to the Media's free video game day event. This was a first for them. Let me say that. This was the first time that they were doing this event. I didn't notice any hiccups from Back to the Media, but I'm sure there might have been one or two. But I didn't notice. Me and Big Candy got there extremely early. Let me explain what Back to the Media is. They are a retro video game shop. They are not just retro video games from like Genesis and Nintendo and Super Nintendo. They cover all the video game consoles from Nintendo, early days of Nintendo, Sega, meaning I should be more precise if they hear this, because I will be tagging them in this the description when this show gets posted up. They sell NES, SNES, Game Boy, Game Boy Advance, 3DS, Genesis. I think they might sell Dreamcast too if they get that in as well. And they sell PlayStation 1, 2, 3, and 4 games. They sell Xbox, original Xbox games, Xbox One, Xbox 360. Plus they also sell a lot of the rare collectibles that tend to go with these systems. And they also sell records, vinyl records, and they sell movies as well. So they literally cover all bases of media. And the event went it went very, very well. I didn't see any hiccups or anything like that. Again, if there were, I didn't notice any. If there were problems, I didn't notice any. I was one of the first few people to go in. And what I got now, what they did was for this event was they had about 200 to 220 plus games in kind of like a grab bag. And they had Switch games, Xbox One, all the way down to Atari. Yes, they do have Atari. I forgot to mention that. I do apologize. Back to the Media for that. They had all those systems, and when you came in, you got to choose. So the earlier you got there, the better odds for you getting what you wanted was better. Meaning, if you really wanted an Xbox One game, if you got there early, you were able to get that. Now, you couldn't choose the game. They chose the games that went in these bags. And one of the things that they did was they chose, like I said, they marked Xbox One, 360, so forth and so on. Like I said, they put them in bags. They randomized everything. They added. I do apologize for that. Let's bring this up to give you an idea of what they had. Let's see, back to video games, because I want to give you the full list of what they had in regards to overall. Let's see, bringing this up. They did a lot of live stuff for it, and it might be on their event page. Yeah, it might be event. Yeah, let's bring that up because let's see here, discussion. Let's see here. What they had were, like I said, it was spread out. A grab bag had one game in it, meaning if you chose Atari, it had one game in it, Atari game in it. If you chose SNES, it had one game in it. Plus, like each set, as I said, each one of these had one game and some goodies in it, and it was all randomized. Now, what they had up, like out of all these bags, they had 10 Atari bags, 20 NES bags, 15 SNES, 20 Genesis, 3 Dreamcast, 2 Saturn, 15 N64, 10 DS, 5 3DS, 15 Game Boy, 10 GameCube, 10 PS1, 20 PS2, 10 PS3, 10 PS4, 5 Switch, and so forth and so on. They also had 10 original Xbox, 15 360, and 7 Xbox One. Now, according to them, again, their FAQ, they said it would be how many bags you were allowed to get. One per person, in essence, customer. You couldn't just go back and cycle through. I'm sure somebody tried to do that, but from the looks of the line, they had more than 100 people right out of the gate, and that line didn't die down. Barely died down when we walked by the business at like 1:30. I think about 1:30, they were just I won't say they were winding down, but what they did was, I would say, the line finally died down, but they still were having at 1:30, 1:45. They may have had like a half dozen bags left. Most of that was like Atari and I think NES games, or SNES games. But the FAQs were, how many bags do you get? One. What's in the bags? Each bag will be labeled per console. Each bag will have one game in it for said console. Also, free game swag, coupons, and some mystery items. So, if you picked up a bag, it could have coupons. It could have additional stuff in it. I picked up a Xbox One game, or I should say bag, and what was included in it was Mortal Kombat 10. I'm not a big fighter person, but getting Mortal Kombat 10 is an interesting thing. It's free. I know Mortal Kombat 11 just came out, and there's a lot of people praising it, yet bashing it as well. But at least I have a Xbox One games. It's a decent game. None of what they gave out were sports games, which is nice. And who knows? Like I said, everybody seemed happy with what they got. I got Mortal Kombat X. I got a fidget spinner, and I got a cartridge, like an SNES or a NES cartridge cleaner, and which I think is cool. I got 3 items. I didn't have to spend a dime, but I did pick up a 3DS game, and I did pick up an additional 360 game. What I picked up was Grand Theft Auto 5, and I think it came with online. And I picked up Final Fantasy Ring of Fates. So I have additional stuff to put in and play. So that's good. And from what we were told, people were literally not just getting the games, they were actually picking up additional stuff as well. Kind of like what I did. Oh, look, a Grand Theft Auto for $10. I'll pick it up for $10. So it was like that. A lot of people were doing it, picking stuff up. They were picking up consoles, new consoles, old consoles. So it wasn't like they were just taking their bag and leaving. They were actually purchasing stuff. Now, so that was good. Unlike Free Comic Book Day, where a lot of folks just come in, get the free comics, and leave, people were staying a little bit longer, looking around the shop, seeing what they had, and actually buying something. Well, one of the things, let me just say this because I'm remembering it now. The store itself seems a little cramped and tiny compared to a lot of other, I won't say other retro game stores. Let me compare it to the one here in Martinsburg, West Virginia, which is Panhandle Games. You could probably fit 2 Back to the Media's, this location, in Panhandle Games. It was kind of that small, maybe 1.5. But that was the my only gripe. But if that's the only gripe, I'm not worried about it. But it was a good event. They had a great turnout. It took about 3 hours roughly before the bags were pretty much, if not almost, gone. And they still had a few people, from what I heard, come in to check out the event in regards to later on. So that's always a good sign. That's always a good thing. And they did specify that while supplies last. So, and also how this is a good thing. If you are let's say you got there early enough and you just picked up an Xbox One or a PS4 or a Switch as your console, and because new games are kind of still expensive, even though you could get a used game like a Grand Theft Auto 5 that I got was $10. Even though you could pick them up, support your local retro game shop that does sell used games like this that are quality and everything else that work. So yeah, you could probably pick up another game like I did for $10, but you're getting a game that you can play right out, a AAA game that you can play right out the bag, so to speak, once you get home, which is good, which is nice, and you're in essence saving some money. Yes, I understand PS4 and Xbox One, or I should say Xbox Live, give out free games on a monthly basis, but still, you're saving, in a way, saving some money. And if you're able to pick up a game like I did on the cheap, why not? You know, and it was, like I said, it's a good thing. I liked it. I enjoyed myself. What else can I say? They had a few cosplayers. I think I only saw 2. I don't know if more showed up, and we would have loved to speak to the owner in regards to his store and some of the things that he's been not just doing, like the event. We would have loved to, again, speak to the owner in regards to the event, but I saw like a week or 2 ago, not so much a week or 2 ago, might have been a little bit longer than that, in regards to Record Store Day and how they've been kind of, I won't say blacklisted, but every time that they've applied, they've got turned down in regards to it. And the owner and the posts that I've seen about it, they said that they've qualified for Record Store Day, just that the people that put on Record Store Day keep turning them down for some strange reason. And I would have loved to talk to him about that and this event. And from what we heard, someone is trying to kick this off as a national day, national, like, countrywide day, kind of similar to Free Comic Book Day. And how that would apply, I don't know. Again, this would be something that I would have to talk to him, and if you are listening back to the media, I would love to speak to you, even through Skype, if anything, or I could call you and record the interview and speak to you in regards to a lot of these questions and about the event and how things are going. And Big Candy got, like I said, I got an Xbox One. I'm leaving Big Candy up, but let me kind of include what he got. I don't remember the game he got. He picked up a Switch bag, and he got a kind of a 3D shooter, type of game, and he got a keyring, a Pokemon keyring. So, and he said it'll make his son really proud and happy and everything else, and it kind of saved him a couple of bucks too, which is always good, and good chance he'll be playing as much as his son will in regards to that game. But like I said, it was a good time, and these weren't really crap games. So that's about it in regards to that. But I want to talk about. I don't want to just talk about that. I want to review something I seen a few weeks prior that I've been neglecting to talk to all of you about, and that is the film Netflix original Love, Death, and Robots. And this was a very interesting kind of CGI type film, and it's an anthology film. I'm not big on anthology films, but this was pretty good. It had a lot of good stories that I enjoyed. There are very few that weren't up to par, so that's always a good thing, because I've praised in the past a little, not so much in later episodes, but if you really make it out in one of the first interviews we did for the 4-State Slasher Con, you heard me kind of speak about the anthology films VHS and ABCs of Death, and that I enjoyed VHS in reference to the quality of their shorts and how strong, in essence, strong this anthology film was, but how I wasn't really kind of digging ABCs of Death, meaning that whereas VHS had a lot of strong shorts in it and very few weak shorts, the ABCs was like the complete reverse. It had one or two shorts that were very strong, and the rest were very weak, and some didn't really fit the motif of what was happening. So I said it's about an hour and a half, 2 hour movie, and like I said, I enjoyed it very much. I don't know if Big Candy saw it. When he's on the show next, I'll probably have him talk about, see if he's seen it, or some of the other films. I know he recently seen Pet Sematary this past weekend as well. We'll try to talk to him to give him a review in regards to it. Even though I haven't seen it, I don't care. He could spoil it as much as he wants. But that's about it. There's a few other things that I've seen. Oh yes, I did power watch I can't really say the final season of Lucifer, but they kind of made it alluded to the final season. Now, let me explain in regards to this. Back a few years ago, I want to say last year, we got 3 seasons of Lucifer aired on Fox. Like I said, for 3 years, Lucifer aired on Fox. And at the end of season 3, Fox decided, or right before season 3 ended, Fox said, you know what, we're canceling you. For what reason, I don't know. I would have to look it up. I think we covered it in regards to why they were canceled and what the reasons were. But the fans banded together in regards to that they want at least one more season, if not more. And the cast was kind of up for that too. The cast and crew was like, yeah, let's, if you guys could get, one more, the higher ups or whatever company to do one more season, let's do one more season. And we'll see how it goes from there. And sure enough, Netflix stepped up to the plate and said, we'll do one more season. And if it does well, we'll do more. But the thing is, it's going to be roughly a few episode season, meaning no more than 10 to 12, which has been their gimmick as of now. They're not doing a 20 episode season or 24 episode season. They've been trying to keep their seasons short and sweet. So the season of Lucifer that we got was 10 episodes long. A lot of times in it, this overall arcing storyline was it seemed a little rushed because it was 10 episodes, but it was a good, strong season. It kept up to the original Fox brand, if you want to call it that. But Netflix added their own. Because Netflix is Netflix, they were allowed to expand the minutes from maybe a 44-minute episode to a 50-minute episode, which means each episode's a little bit longer. And they were able to probably get away with a little bit more. There was a few instances of vulgarity and cursing, so that was an interesting twist, which also seemed to be a good thing. Like I said, it allowed them to open up a little bit more with a little more restraint. Now, whether or not we'll get a season 5, I don't know, but for the most part, I didn't see them doing a season 5 in regards to how they wrapped everything up. So it will be, if they do, it'll be interesting. It'll be nice to see. So we'll get on with that. And what else? This upcoming week, John Wick 3 is coming out. Hopefully I'll get a chance to see that. And also, if you want to see exactly what both me and Big Candy got at the Back to the Media free video game day event, you can always go to either our Facebook page, which is facebook.com/The Lone Coat Mafia Podcast, or our YouTube channel, which is just search for Lone Coat Mafia Podcast. We're one of the first things that come up in regards to it, and you can see the video there. And that's about it. But I'm going to have to end it there. Like I said, I did say that this week's episode will be a short one, and I'm coming in under a half an hour. So let me just say that if you want to see everything that we put up video-wise, you could, again, go to our Facebook page, which is, again, facebook.com/The Lone Coat Mafia Podcast, or go to our YouTube channel, which also is under Lone Coat Mafia Podcast. We don't have enough subscribers to actually change the name on it yet. I think it's still at 100 subscribers, but then again, YouTube tends to move the goalposts a lot in regards to that. And I suggest to either liking our Facebook page and liking our YouTube page and subscribing to us on YouTube, because I tend to put some videos on both that are exclusive to both platforms. So it's best to follow us there and see what we're doing, what we've done, and where we're going. Meaning I tend to post up what we're about to head to on our Facebook, as well as our Twitter. But you can get more information from our Facebook page. But if you want to follow us on Twitter, our Twitter handle is Lone Coat Mafia. And if you want to see, if you can't make it to one of the events that we are at and want to see what we've done, what we saw, again, you can watch the videos if we post any on YouTube and Facebook. But you can also see pictures that we snagged during the day that might not make it to a video by going to our Instagram, which is also Lone Coat Mafia. And what else? Oh, where to get our show. If you're listening to this show and you want to partake in this show on the road, you could get us on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Stitcher, Spotify, and the Podbean app. And plus where other podcasts are found. And I might recommend using the Podbean app, because just in case Google and iTunes tend to be a little funky, and how iTunes tends to been doing things lately, I do suggest Apple's been doing things lately. I do suggest having the Podbean app as on your mobile device as a backup, just in case. What else? If you listen to us on the desktop, if not, if at all, if you like to stay in and listen to us on a desktop device or a laptop, you can find us on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher Radio. You can find us. Our majority of our shows are also posted up on YouTube, but I suggest listening to us on the go using one of the other formats like iTunes or Google. But if iTunes is again funky and decides that it doesn't want to download or seemingly can't find us for whatever reason, because that has happened to a few popular podcasts that I've listened to in the past, just head on over to our main website, which is thelongcoatmafia.podbean.com, and you'll be able to snag the current episode plus any back episode, going straight back to the beginning if you want to hear past interviews, convention panels that we got, and anything else. So that's about it. I'm going to post this up, head to bed, and get some rest. So all of you out there, I hope you have a great week. And again, I'm sorry for the short episode this week. And take care, and peace.
You've been listening to the Longcoat Mafia Podcast, the internet's most hated and mafia-themed geek podcast.